Subtlety is a contemporary novel. I'm the contemporary novelist on the panel, with historical themes that run through the book. The historical themes harking back to the main character, a little girl named Maybelle, who is 11 and about to move from elementary school into middle school, and she was in the Gifted and Talented program, and she's laughing because as she gets to middle school, she's not pegged to be in the program, and she's very upset about this. And her parents are self-help gurus out on their first book tour, and her grandparents are recently retired honky-tonk legends who rode around in their Winnebago named Winnie, and they've recently inherited an antebellum home that Maybelle goes to stay in for the summer while her parents are on their book tour. And she's always been their one and only, and the star grandchild, and so even though her parents are gone, she kind of feels like her grandparents are more parental and loving. Her parents are kind of slightly success mongers, so they expect much of her. And so she's really feels like she's been a disappointment to the family. And as she gets there, little does she know, her cousin Isaac, this little trumpet playing prodigy from Chicago, arrives. So she's in quite a state, and there's also a kind of mystery element to this antebellum home. There's a locked wing, and she kind of sets forth to find out what possibly is in this locked wing and what it may or may have to do with the Underground Railroad, her family's history, possibly owning slaves themselves, or having been abolitionists. So I'm going to read to you today from a scene shortly after Isaac gets there. It's chapter 8, and she's outside looking at the house, and it's just now dawning on her that this antebellum home and what this history means and what this may have to do with her family. And Isaac's the one that kind of pushes that, and she already kind of feels antagonistic towards him, and this just makes matters worse. So what were you telling him, Isaac asked. Cotton. Just that I think this house here is antebellum. That means it was built pre-Civil War. Pre-Civil War, huh? Isaac looked at the house. As in back in the slave days, you mean? I gulped, getting the point. Isaac was black, and the Everleys, including old Edith, were white. And back in the antebellum days, things were way different than they were now. Don't even think it. My father traced his family roots, and none of the Earls owned any slaves. Nobody has gone digging in the dirt around the Everly family tree, but none of those old-time Everleys owned any slaves either, I told him, sounding sure than I felt. What was I saying? How could I be sure of a thing like that? Oh, really? Is that in that fact book of yours? I know you're new to the family and all, but we're not like that. I didn't say you were now. Isaac danced his fingertips over his trumpet valves. But everyone back then was. That's what the war was about. The right for people to own other people, Isaac said. The North against the South. The North won. I didn't need him to read the scoreboard for me. I'd studied the Civil War in history. That they did, I said, feeling like some kind of war was going on between Isaac and me. But lots of folks in the South didn't believe in slavery. Some folks were fighting for states' rights. I thought of this damn fact that I jotted down in my notebook. The Civil War was about slavery. Everyone knew that. But wasn't it just as much about being not told what to do? Wasn't that why the Southern states succeeded and made and used their own stamps? You wouldn't know since you're a Yankee and all, I told Isaac. But Southerners are big on doing their own thing. Yeah, Alice told me that. Why did he call Aunt Alice by her first name and not Granny and Gramps by theirs? What else did she tell you, I asked. Isaac kicked a pine cone that had fallen from one of the trees. He looked lost in thought. Did you go get a load of that guy at the bus station when Granny said I was her grandson? Yeah, what about it? Cotton backed up to the base of the tree and took a dump. Cotton's a dog. I didn't know that was in there. I reckoned he'd gotten over being shy, but to give him some privacy anyway, I stepped a few feet away and motioned for Isaac to come with me. When Granny first introduced me, I kind of got the feeling he didn't think we could be related because you're white and I'm black. So Isaac had seen it too, that weird look that had crossed Giles's face that said it was okay for Isaac if he was a family friend, but not if he was family. I bet he was just surprised, you know. No one knew you were coming, I said, including me. He was friendly and all, talking music with you. I brushed a smudge of something from Isaac's shirt, probably dirt or dust from the tree bark. And anyway, we're not really related, not by blood. But we could be related. We could be today, and we could have been way back in the antebellum days or at any time in between. For a second, Isaac's eyes welled up. I didn't know what he was getting so upset over. Then he squared his shoulders and said, "It's not like that stuff didn't happen, you know. I saw a movie about some revolutionary dude who fathered kids with one of his slaves. That was Thomas Jefferson." I tapped my noggin, glad I knew who the revolutionary dude was. So honest, I don't need a history lesson. I tugged on Cotton's collar. He was done with his business and trotted behind me as I stomped up the veranda steps. Now, even more than before, I wanted to snoop around that locked wing. There had to be something in there to show Isaac I knew my family way better than he ever did or would.